Welcome to week number 5 of the study of ombre. Today we're moving on in the pattern and we're moving on to doing a stitch that I believe that I invented, but I'm not gonna say that 100% because somebody could have thought of it somewhere. And what this is actually creating really cool lines on the front end of the project. Now the issue with this particular stitch is that the good side is actually on the back of the stitch, not the front. So this means that here it says cross ripples turn to the back. We're going to do the majority of this on the back side of the pattern. So I'm going to be having you do that. It says turn the work with the wrong side facing. So I've got notes here to tell you to do that just in case that you don't see that. And what we're going to do is that we're going to work through this. Now this is like week number 4. When we look at the crochet diagram, there is a repeating going on over and over and over. And what we have here is that we're gonna start off and we're gonna turn to the back side and we're going to do a single crochet around. The next round, number 39, we're going to do a crisscross stitch which sets us up for the special stitch that I've invented, and that will be happening later. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to get yourself started and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna go all the way to 42 together, and then you can do the remaining of this on your own because you can see how many times you can see the crossovers. So you see crossover 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what we have here is that once you do the crossovers, there's just 3 single crochets in the chain 1 space that helps it split apart to make it look really cool. So when you go to do this, you're going to be on the back. Now once we get near to the end, we're going to be turning it around next week as we begin our journey as we continue the study. So just make sure that you keep an eye on that, and we're going to be moving on in today's pattern.
Time is gone and I grew up and somehow made it through without losing sight.
One more note for yourself, round number 49 at the very end, you'll be turning around and making sure that you do that on the front side. So the very last round in this will be on the front side of just the double crochets, which I've already demonstrated how to do that in the square a few times already in this series. So let's begin, and we're gonna start with round number 38, and I will then start you there and we'll kick our journey across. We'll see you. Let's begin round number 38. I want you to slip stitch to the corner first before you turn the project around, and all you're just gonna do is flip your blanket upside down, and we're gonna crochet what is called as the wrong side. So everything that we're about to do in this whole section until I tell you otherwise will all be done on the back of the project so that the stitch work and the texture appears on the front. So when we go to start, we're gonna chain up 1, and then in that same space we're going to single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. Remember that when you're looking at it here, this was like the beginning of this section when you chain 2 to start with this half double crochet. So don't think that this is 2 stitches, it's only 1. So make sure that you don't add an extra 1. So just simply single crochet all the way around, and when you get to your corners, it's 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, and meet me back here in just a moment. I'll be right back. So I'm coming around on number 38, and I'm coming into my very last stitch before the end, and I want to join it to the first single crochet that I started with. And before I finish off here, I want to just slip stitch to the chain 2 corner, and then you can begin then the next round. Number 39 next. Continuing to stay on the wrong side, so all the texture and everything is on the other side. So we're on the back of the Afghan. We're now going to continue to 39. Let's chain up 3. That's your first double crochet, and in the same space of the corner you'll double crochet again, chain 2, and double crochet 2 more times. This is a setup row for what's coming in the future. So what you have is that each one of these crisscrosses span 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. So what I need you to do is to reach over to the third one and double crochet, chain 1, and reach back to the first one of the group of 3, and I access it from the back. It's in this particular type of crisscross. Just be consistent. So now you have the next empty 3. So you're gonna skip to the third one and double crochet, chain 1 and go to the first one you skipped and double crochet. And you need to do this all the way to the next corner, and in the corners it's always 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then just start your crisscrossing immediately then on the next side, and I'll meet you back here in just a moment. This is round number 39. I would like to show you a cheating technique because I think it's important. I like to always provide on and off ramps when it comes to my designs. I used to be a truck driver, so sometimes you need an off ramp for when you've gone off the track and then you need to get back on without having a frog. So in this particular side I'm missing a stitch. I don't know why, and I'm not gonna worry about it. I think I'm confident and to getting that, and I want to just make sure that I have the right number. And what I've got left here is only 2 stitches, so I still am just gonna use the second stitch away only instead of the third. I'm still gonna chain 1, and I'm still gonna just come back into the one that is empty. It's gonna be so unnoticeable in the future, I wouldn't worry about it. Then come into your corner and do your corner as normal. So what we can do is that we can look back at the pattern, and let's just take a look. So usually I've been writing stuff down as I go, and so then I have in the pattern that it was 33 cross stitch groups. So as long as you have that number, you're good to go. So make sure all sides are equal, and that's just a great way to get self started, and that's so important for your next round that you do, that everything is in balance at this time, so because you're setting yourself up for something else. Before I move on, I want to tell you another tip. Say for example that you realized in the first side you may have had 32 crisscrosses and not 33 as the pattern stated. Now because I made an error in the video, if you saw previous videos in this series, you notice that I actually did, this is what you need to do, and I just blanked out the screen and I showed you, and I put some video stuff to show you. Now the interesting thing about that, because of the error that was in the pattern during the filming, this here is 3 stitches short, and so therefore I only ended up with 32 crisscrosses instead of 33. And am I worried about it? Absolutely not. My thought process when I did this is everything's in groups of 3. So you realized here when we were down here, this was 3, this is also 3, and so my point being is that it won't matter in the future if that's your issue, as long as you still are having your groups of 3. So as long as the blanket's still sitting down and you're fine with it, you're good. So if you only had 32 crisscrosses, maybe you had an extra one, 34. As long as the blanket's sitting down and as long as it's still continuing in its groups of 3, you should be good to go. So there's my tip for you. So don't worry about it. So you don't need to leave a message, oh my god I got too many. Just make sure all sides have the same amount of crisscrosses, or then you really will be in trouble. And we're going to continue our journey now. I'm coming all the way around number 39. So we've just done crisscrosses. I have confirmed that I have the same number of crisscrosses on each side, and I'm just going to slip stitch to the top. Now because the blanket's getting bigger, the colors of transition will be changing, and you will notice that it will not align with the front. Do not worry about it. This particular stitch is actually a lot of fun, it will hide it in some degree, but again I would not worry about it. So let's just slip stitch to the next chain 2 corner, and then I'm gonna show you the next round, which will be the same as every time. So I want to just take you back to the diagram and point that out for you, and I'll be right back. So rounds number 40, 42, 44, 46, and 48 are all the same. We're going to chain up 1 and single crochet into the corner. Let me just point to the right one, and then chain 2 and then single crochet back into the same corner. You were going to single crochet the next 2 double crochets that you'll have, and then see these crisscrosses in the chain 1 space. You're going to put 3 single crochets in each one of those, and by the time you get to the other side you're going to single crochet the final 2 double crochets that are by themselves, and then you'll do your corner of single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So this is our goal, and you'll be repeating this over and over. So I'll show it to you one time, and let's move on to round number 40. So this helps split apart the crisscrosses that we'll have in the future one. In round number 41, that's when you'll see the stitch that I invented, and it will help separate that as well. So you're gonna chain up 1 and single crochet. I'm still looking at the back of the project, so the wrong side, and chain up 2 and single crochet in. Now these 2 by themselves, make them as single crochets. So I want to point out to you that the one single crochet that was in the corner plus these two equals the number 3. And remember what I said before in the tip, that everything was in sets of 3. That's what you're seeing. Now jump immediately to the crisscross and just split it apart with a chain 1 and put 3 single crochets in. It's that simple. So you're gonna find on these rounds here, even though we're doing single crochet, it's nice and easy. So see the next crisscross, split it apart at the chain 1 and put 3 single crochets in each. Have you turned it around yet? I haven't actually. So we'll turn it around and you can see this is what it's gonna look like. And again, I would not worry about the changing of colors when it came all the way around. It's gonna blend in many ways. So I want you to go all the way around doing the same concept. In the corners it's single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and don't forget that the 2 last double crochets that are by themselves in the next corner, when you get there, they're gonna be single crochets each, and then single crochet into the corner, chain 2, single crochet back in, and then do what you know. So please do this all the way around for lucky round number 40. So I'm coming all the way around, and the last 2 are single crochets, and then we're going to then slip stitch to the beginning, single crochet in the corner. And before we continue, just go right to the chain 2 space in the corner, slip stitch, and get ready for the next stitch, which is my own invention. So let's go through my special stitch. Number 41 is where my stitches happen. It's not only a crisscross, but I was really inspired by suspension bridges, and I wondered what the Golden Gate Bridge would look like, and I almost think this should be called the suspension stitch. And what it is that we're going to be suspending the crisscross from the rows below. So we're gonna start off and you're gonna chain up 3. You'll double crochet into the same corner, chain 2, and 2 double crochets in. You're going to crisscross the first 3 as you normally did in the same direction on what you did before. Then the next time, the next 3, do you see how they're groups of 3? You are going to double crochet into the third one away, chain 1, and you're going to do a back post treble around this one that's right here. This is currently sitting on the front of the project that you're looking at. Okay, so this is currently on the back side, but it's currently on the front, and when you access it you're gonna come from behind, and that's gonna pull this from the front to the back naturally, and it's going to suspend what you're doing right here, and the cars basically will be driving across, if you want to look at it from that perspective. You're gonna do that. So it's just the first crisscrosses from the starting of any of the sides. They cannot come down there because there's nothing there for it to grab. Do you see that? So you can only start the suspension stitch once you see a crisscross below. This means that when you get to the other side here, you can go right to the very end, and the suspension is going to be in the first double crochet of the grouping of 2, because everything works in 3. So you can come down here, do that stitch, and then just go right to your corner of 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Then you start a new side again, just with what you know. It's gonna be a crisscross, and then the next one is a suspension. So let's continue this, and let's try this. This is going to be awesome. Let's try 41. So let's begin right where we're sitting. You see how the colors are kind of mixing? It's neat. And so you might want to take a look at the other side just to see what you can see now, because what you're about to do is so incredibly textured. It's fun. So chain up 3. Some of you may hate my stitch, but that's okay. So, and then double crochet into the same one. Can't please them all. So now you're gonna have to chain 2 to turn, and 2 double crochet in. So far you shouldn't be groaning yet, but it'll be soon. Okay, so the first 3, you see how they're not in this grouping of 3? It's these 3. You're going to treat it as a regular crisscross. Make sure that you cross over in the same direction in which you had been doing that before. Okay. Now you're going to do the suspension stitch over the next 3. So go to the third one, double crochet, chain 1, and you're going to do a back post treble around this one here. See how it's sitting on this side? right in front of you, which is currently the wrong side of the work. You wanna do this as a treble in the back post. So wrap the hook twice and you wanna come and scoop that stitch on its own and drag it to the back side. Yarn over, pull through, and it is a treble, so you should see 4 loops. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2, and that is the line that's on an angle that you see in the sample. So let's do the next grouping of 3. Skip to the 3rd one and double crochet, chain 1, and back post treble around this one here. See how it pulls it in behind? So just go around that one and turn it over just so you can see it, and pull through, and then pull through 2, 2, and 2. I'll show you one more time. So you're going to go to the next grouping of 3, go to the 3rd one, double crochet, chain 1, and then you want to back post treble around this one here. And what this is doing is it's suspending the row in between as a suspension. So when you turn it around, you'll see that you have these beautiful lines that are crossing over top of the other colors, and it ends up being pretty cool. So I'll meet you at the first corner to make sure that you're suspending the final one before turning, and I will see you there in just a moment. I'm continuing to the first corner. As I promised you I would see you back here, and so I'm doing my suspension, and then I still have 3 more stitches left. So there's no more crisscrosses below, but I want you to do the suspension right to the end. So skipping the next 2, just go to the 3rd, double crochet, chain 1, and I want you to suspend around this double crochet here that's part of that corner. That's gonna be your very last suspension there before turning. You'll notice that it's buckling down. Don't worry about it. It's going to flatten out. It's gonna pull back when you do the next one. You're going to do the corner as you know it, so it's going to be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and you're going to start your next side. Now remember what I said is that the first grouping of the 3, there's nothing to come down onto. So you're just going to skip to the 3rd one, double crochet, chain 1, and just come to the first one of that grouping of 3 and do your regular crisscross, and then you start your suspension from there. So here's this group. So go to the far one, chain 1, and then back post double crochet around the one that's crossing, and that will pull it back. So if you turned it around, yeah, I bet you have. So you're going to see in the rows that'll come up is that this will look more cooler and it'll get really neat, like really neat. So what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna leave this in your hands now because this is a stitch along. It is part of the learning, and let me just take you back to the diagram and explain what your process is going to be to take you to the end of today's tutorial. So let's take a look here. You're at 41. So the next row is going to be your single crochets again, and 43 is crisscrossing. Again, uses suspension. Again, the first one out is just a crisscross. You'll go all the way to the other side. So what I want you to do is that I want you to continue this process, and you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crisscross stitches. The first one is just a regular, but you'll see 4 of those suspension rows, so you'll be able to count 5. Do your single crochet, and then what you're going to do then on round number 49, which is the end of today's tutorial, is that you were going to turn the work and you're gonna come back to the front side of the work, the right side, and then you're just gonna do 1 round of double crochet all the way around. Okay, and you're gonna do that, and then you're going to fasten off this color. So this is what it looks like at the end of week number 5. You can tell that I stopped and started always on this corner. So when I start next week, I want to make sure that I do not start on this corner and start on another corner that has more of a transitional look to it, so that the seam lines don't always stay in the same corner. So do you see what it looks like there? Completely different. So I'll see you on week number 6 next time. Bye bye.